Welcome back to a brand new episode of Charm City Beat. We are back. It is the off season and a lot of shit has happened. Right out the gates, we're just going to talk about it. New offensive coordinator in the house. Todd Monken out of Georgia, the former offensive coordinator, two-time natty back-to-back there. So, I mean, got some college caliber coming out. You know, he's had some work with the NFL. Worked with both Tampa and Cleveland. But what do you guys think about this pickup?
I think it's a great pickup. I think because you're bringing a guy that is going to revolutionize the way we do our offense. He's going to switch it up a little bit. We're getting away from, the run-heavy offense, and we're going to hopefully throw the ball a little bit more with a guy that did a lot of stuff in Georgia with talent that wasn't – I mean, they were really good, obviously, the best team in the country, but they didn't have, like, the Ohio State-level receivers and stuff. So I think that's a testament. I mean, the quarterback they had, for instance, like 26-year-old turned him into a Heisman candidate.
He'll be a Raven next year, probably.
I said, future Raven.
Yeah, 4th round, 5th round. Yeah,
undrafted. If he's undrafted, I'm calling it then.
Why not?
He's undrafted. He's here in a heartbeat.
Yeah. You mentioned, I mentioned earlier, he has NFL experience. I think, Ross, you were saying before we went on air, 5,000 yards from Jameis.
Yeah. No, yeah, he knew what he had in Tampa. He had Jameis Winston, who, by the way, he roasted him in his press conference, by the way. He said he liked to throw it, maybe to the other team sometimes. I was like, oh, my God, he said that. And that was Jameson's 30 for 30 year, his 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions when he apparently couldn't see. But he had him and Fitzpatrick for over 3,000 yards. Then he goes to Cleveland. They had Nick Chubb. He led the league in rushing that year. And Baker had his best season. Baker Mayfield. And then, like you said, went to Georgia and turned, like I said, 26-year-old Benson Bennett into a two-time national championship quarterback.
How much eligibility does this kid have? He's like 26.
He was there. He left. He came back.
Decided to go to graduate school. Like, what's up?
Yeah, he was at Georgia, didn't start, went to junior college, and after a year, George was like, hey, you want to come back on a scholarship?
Fuck it, why not? Let's run it up. Natty, 2 times. That's crazy. Yeah. Obviously, without, we know you can give Nick Chubb, we know what Nick Chubb can do. Baker Mayfield passing. So that means he has versatility, which is something the Ravens have lacked.
In Georgia, they were kind of run heavy.
Yeah.
And they love the tight ends, too.
He talked about both Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews will be critical parts to get them both involved in matchup. And then someone on the radio this morning mentioned, do you think Likely possibly does the opposite of Darren Waller at some point?
What do you mean, go to wide receiver?
I mean, hopefully he gets used like that more. Greg Roman, for some reason, hated that idea.
Yeah. Greg Roman hated a lot of things. Though.
He loved fat white boys.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had a tremendous press conference. He said all the right things that you want to hear as a Ravens fan. And I know he came over with his 6 basic elements of, like, offense, which is, like, don't turn it over, be explosive, don't have lost yardage, be really good on third down, be good in the red zone. And then most importantly, have a quarterback that can make plays off schedule, like you see Mahomes do, like you see Joe Burrow do, like you see Josh Allen do, like you see Jalen Hurts do. I feel like the blueprint's there to have a successful offense, and I think they got a coordinator that hopefully can kind of unlock that. Whether or not Lamar is here or not, I think they can still have a successful quarterback play with him calling the plays.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Pause for a second. Along with the offensive coordinator, though, we did get a couple of new coaches, a few new faces in new places. Russ, you want to talk about them?
Yeah, we got T. Martin. This is the name quarterback coach, previously wide receiver coach, which obviously leaves that open now. People kind of speculating Keith Williams will go there because he kind of worked with them already. He's already in staff. I mean, it shows that he's keeping some of the staff. We do have a new running back coach, which for some reason, because Raven fans on Twitter are crazy freaked out about because he's friends with the Harp. Yeah, he worked with all the Harbaughs. Congratulations. That doesn't matter.
It's gonna happen.
He's a running back coach. Our running backs are fine. He's not going to probably do much.
Yeah.
And then we finally replaced the all-hated Steve Stonners and replaced him with Scott Elliott.
Yo, watch that injury number drop. Watch that shit happen.
Oh my God.
We finally got rid of the two most hated men in Baltimore.
Sorry. Yeah. Scott Elliott, I'm excited to see what he can do. Again, watch the injuries drop. If that happens, that's crazy.
Whole new slave of strength and living coaches came in. I don't even have their names. It's like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Like I said,
No, I said I love the momentum. I feel like it's a chance to like kind of hit reset here, and sort of get rid of the bad taste that was the last couple of years. Honestly, really since 2020, this team really has been sort of been neutral, trying to get out of its own way. Like the talent's there, but the health and the production hasn't been.
So we're finally doing like coaching rebuild. Everyone's worried about. It doesn't want to say the word rebuild. We'll say coaching rebuild is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, because I think outside of, again, the wide receiver room, as we spoke about, we're pretty good. I think we're safe. We did re-sign Brent Urban. I like that signing. I just like his energy. I think he's a great guy. Fits the team very well. And we also got Daryl Worley, who really showed up those last couple of games. I'm excited to see what that kid can do. Full off season for sure on the squad, not on the practice squad, but actually on the team. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, though.
Got to stay healthy.
Got to stay healthy. That's the number one thing. Hey, maybe that might.
Hopefully, Scott can keep him healthy.
What do you guys think of Patrick Queen sort of unfollowing the Ravens across social media, and as he's approaching he's at a crossroads because how much is his production result of Roquan showing up? Are they going to pay another linebacker big money? Like, I think all signs point to Patrick Queen leaving Baltimore and then bringing in another guy to sort of go opposite Roquan, kind of like you saw Bart Scott and Ed Hartwell and Delius Thomas and Paul Kruger, and the names go on and on and on and on. I feel like Allerby's another one where it's like, is Roquan the real key here? And the guy that plays next to him is going to ball the hell out.
What's so fucking wild about that is they drafted Pat Queen in the hopes that he would be the number one guy, which is wild. He was expected to be the second coming of Ray Lewis. I was excited. I was like, man, we get a safety at middle linebacker. This is going to be great. Yeah, nah, it just didn't pan out that way. I think Roquan is the key. You saw what happened. That defense flipped. When he was signed, the defense flipped. Literally, day and night. I mean, you got Kyle Hamilton now, one of the top-rated safeties in the NFL, probably based off of the fact that he didn't have to worry about 300 different things and he could just focus on being a strong safety and a very hybrid one at that. I think Pat Queen's gone. I could see him being traded. I don't want to because I think he's great. You know, I think I love the matchup, the teamwork between the two of them, that tandem. It's great. It's unstoppable. But I don't think we can afford it. I think Pat Queen's going to want a solid number one contract, and I don't think he's going to get it from Baltimore.
No. So we will discuss still later. We still have other money we have to try to save right now. And also, ironically, this probably is the most value you could get for Patrick Queen right now after the year he's come off of.
Yeah.
What people say, was it because of Roquan? Possibly. But I've seen people somehow projecting the 2 for him. Maybe not a high 2, depends on who, but
yeah.
Like I said, he was weighted as one of the top middle linebackers. Mm-hmm. Was it because of Roquan or was it because he just got better?
I think it is a lot to do with Roquan. I mean, the Ravens still run that 3-4-ish defense, 2 guys in the middle. And again, if he was essentially playing it by himself. What was his name? McPhee. He got injured. So there was just like this virtually almost a fill-in position. I don't even know who was really in there most of the time until Roquan got there, and that's when the defense really stepped up. So I I hesitate. It'd be nice in a perfect world if Pat Green would stay for a discounted rate, but again, we know how this era of football is, and nobody's taking discounts. So I don't know.
I feel like he's not a cerebral player because like I feel like he's always needed somebody to take the game over so he could do his thing. Like Josh Bynes, I think last 2 years ago, was playing out of his freaking mind, and I think the last half of the year for Patrick Queen again, we kind of saw this guy rise and make these tackles and these plays, and it's like, where did this guy come from? Let's keep him at that position. And then again this year with Roquan, I think there's no way not a lot of teams are going to give that kind of money to a guy that's off the ball like that. Like you just don't. It's not 2000 anymore. I think Roquan got paid. I don't know how many teams would have anteed up that kind of money. The Ravens obviously needed it, and you saw the result. I think there is a market for him. I think you're right, Joe. I think the Ravens are going to explore some trades potentially.
And I mean, here's the thing. Depending on what we have to do with the next subject we're going to talk about, those trade picks could probably come in handy. Yeah. That and also maybe even freeing up some money along the way because we still have to pay Lamar or don't have to pay Lamar, depending on which way you look at it. Whew, man. Before we get into this, let me preface this by saying a lot of the stuff we talk about with Lamar on Twitter and online and in the news is virtually speculative because no one has ever come out with a distinct source. This is all virtually speculative to me, honestly. Pause for a second.
Goddamn Cleveland.
Yeah, so with the media, I mean, it's a lot of speculation. So again, we don't know 100%. I mean, there are rumors that the Ravens are $100 million off, which is astronomical, by the way. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's just insane. That's a very insane number when you really think about it. There's talk that durability is a question. Lamar has missed 10 of the last 25 games. That's big. That's almost 50% of the last 25 games. That's a lot. That's a lot of football you've missed. I can understand it if that is the exact reason. I don't know. Where do you guys stand with this?
Take it, Ross.
I don't know. For me, there's only one media person I rely on, and it's Zep Zebrak. It's not no one else. And Hensley, no, he works for the network. It's anyone who works in the network. No, it's anyone only from the Castle or good old Jeff. He's the only.
Jeff's the reason.
He knows. He's works for the Athletic. He doesn't work for the Sun. He's not. No, he's. Yeah, that was like the one thing today. Lamar's camp. Who's Lamar's camp? The NFL Player Association. They're the only ones doing the leaks.
Now, here's a question. You mentioned the NFL Players Association, and this is a battleground contract here. You have a player without representation, essentially trying to make it on his own, trying to get this astronomical legendary contract on his own, which is wild. And the Lamar situation honestly will open the door to other quarterbacks out there. And this could honestly be a pivotal contract signing, whether he signs with the Ravens or he signs with someone else. The NFL Players Association, I feel like, is using this as kind of a battleground to help leverage other contracts in the future. I don't know where this drama is coming from because, again, you're talking about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, two of the most private entities in the NFL. I mean, hell, we barely know Lamar Jackson has a daughter if it wasn't for a random story. On his Instagram, the bits and pieces that do come out about him are very few and in between. So to believe there is this much contention between the two teams, I don't know where I sit with that.
I mean, I think it's telling that Steve Bisciotti was like the one owner that came out and was like, way to go, Cleveland, way to ruin this for everyone. I think that was kind of the writing on the wall even then, that the Ravens just weren't going to be paying Lamar Jackson all the money in the world that he wants. Does he deserve it? Probably, but it's going to destroy the football team. And to what end? I mean, look at the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I think they owe $50 million this year. You can't do anything. You can't add talent. You can't build around these guys. And
they're done.
And if he can't prove his like Patrick Mahomes, I can see it. The man played one leg on Super Bowl for the second time in his career. Lamar Jackson, I mean, for all the different reasons, has not had postseason success. He hasn't played in December since 2019. Like, Lord of mercy. I mean, he's got to at least show that I don't know. I mean, he needs to find a different way to get paid because I think the Ravens aren't going to give him what he wants, and they're probably going to end up dealing him. What team's crazy enough to take that contract on? We're going to find out. There's probably a bunch of teams waiting, that would love to have him. Very volatile. I never thought we'd come to see this day, personally.
Yeah, the rumor, again, total disclaimer, speculation here, but the number that is put on the table, and again, this is coming from Stephen A. Smith, who says he talked to someone in Lamar Jackson's camp again, NFL Players Association, Lamar's mother, who knows? Says 133 million guaranteed was what they threw on the table. Now, again, when you have Kyler and Russell Wilson, who we've seen what they didn't do, getting way more than that, that seems like a low ball offer. So if that is the case, Lamar's probably going to be wearing Atlanta next year. If I had to make a prediction. But again, these are, who is this camp? Who is, again, pushing this information? So I don't know. But
yes,
it's almost nearing the franchise tag deadline, and
somehow both Lamar is counter offering, but also not answering the calls.
Yeah, what?
And also, one of these guys who had sources about it was the same guy who has a funny video of him interviewing Lamar. Hey, I see you beefed up.
Yeah,
so you don't like working out. What sources?
Who said?
Yeah, so he said sources. Like you've said, no, Lamar is the most private NFL player I think I have seen. And the Ravens, as we learned, they don't. Did we know Hollywood was getting traded on draft day?
No. No one could have predicted that.
Did we know Roquan?
No, you bring up, yeah.
We'd see Roquan coming here.
Mm-hmm.
No, everyone else said that's a good fit. No one's like, the Ravens won't do something like that.
Did we see Lamar coming here? 32nd round, 32nd round.
I will never forget that.
I walked away from the TV.
I will never forget when we picked him up. We were doing the draft special that night, and we were in person back then. And I'm on 895 going home because, all right, it's virtually over. Like, we drafted Hayden Hurst. Like, who the hell is he now? And yeah, right. Jeez, he's a thorn in our side the next forever. But I'm on 895, and I don't even know who texted me. I think it was like Justin or somebody. Texted me and said, we just drafted Lamar. I got a notification. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, I knew something was up because I was covering the team at the Castle at the time. And we had, we did our whole draft story on Hayden Hurst, but it was like they hadn't come down to talk to the media yet. And it was like 11:30 p.m. We're like, what is going on? Something's up because we usually would have been here. Mm-hmm. So they obviously were trying. And then they came across, we found that from the TV just like everyone else. And then they came down and we had to talk to Lamar on the phone. And it was a wild night. And he said, we're going to win the Super Bowl, believe that. And I don't know. I don't believe it anymore.
I don't know if it's going to be with him. I'll say that. I think a Super Bowl is in the Ravens.
Yeah.
Future. Trust me, without a doubt. The Ravens are literally one of the, at least, most well put together organizations, at least from a business point of view. I think Steve Bisciotti does a great job just running the actual business. And again, we are always in the playoff hunt. There's not one year where we're not in the hunt, and even when we're not, I feel like even when it seems like we're out, we still are like a game or two behind. It's wild. The Ravens are just one of those unlucky franchises, I guess you could say. But I don't know. If I had to make an honest prediction, I've come to terms with it. I think, honestly, it gets franchise tag. And there's a good chance we're getting about 3 first-round picks for him.
Can you imagine?
It would be insane.
I've already said, if people have been saying the contract height is Deshaun Watson, his return value trade-wise is Deshaun Watson, if not more.
Yeah,
he's
probably
a younger,
more.
Does not have the off-field problems already. Has
MVP.
Yeah,
I
all
can
he has
see-
is MVP.
I can see multiple firsts and an actually decent football player coming with that.
Honestly, I have seen a lot of people recently go and somehow having C.J. Stroud come here.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I don't see it happening, but I'm not mad about it.
If we're trading Lamar, we're getting we're getting one of those top 5 picks. We're getting
That's true. We're gonna pick up a quarterback. The only problem is you're gonna run into a situation 5 years from now unless that kid does like something amazing. It's like, are we gonna pay him? The Ravens don't want to be Flacco'd again. I think that's 100% where this comes from.
And maybe they're thinking every 5 years we'll just reset the team. I mean, the talent is around them. I mean, it's like
If you
maybe
keep enough pieces in place,
they could move up. We could have C.J. Stroud come freaking April. Like,
that'd be great.
I don't want to rule anything out with the Ravens because they've done everything under the sun when it comes to getting talent and trading away picks. And they love to get picks, and they're probably thinking this is a lost cause with Lamar Jackson. And let's cause some waves. Let's do it.
And the funny thing is, we're all saying this. When's March 7th is? It would not surprise me if March 6th at 11:59 pops up on everyone's phone. Ravens and Lamar reach a contract extension.
Yeah. I can see it.
Great.
That's what they do.
That's a perfect world. That's what we're hoping for. I'm hoping that we are rushing to Zoom to talk about it so we can throw up a video 5 minutes after it happens. Like that's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, I would love Lamar to come back because I feel like he's a great quarterback. You don't know what CJ. You're hoping these guys that come out of the draft will be what Lamar is, which is at his best an MVP, once in a lifetime style quarterback. And if all it takes is getting a receiver next to him, play alongside Bateman and these tight ends, like you saw in the playoffs last year, we are literally a quarterback away from Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, look at it from this point of view. Lamar Jackson, correct me if I'm wrong, fact check me, but he's never thrown below 60% whenever, in a season. Josh Allen, on the other hand, first 2 seasons was throwing under 60% until he got Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
It's that simple to me. And here's the thing to talk on that, because again, to get Stephon Diggs, that's not cheap. They're going to run into a situation where they may have to deal him at some point. Stephon Diggs may have to be dealt because, again, Josh Allen's contract wasn't small. It was a pretty decent contract when they did it. And you think about the greats like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all those big name quarterbacks, Ben Roethlisberger shit even, who took pay cuts or restructured contracts so that they could get players because they know the guys around them need to get paid too. I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers, who took one of the biggest paydays and saw his boy walk out the door. Yeah. That to me, that mentality doesn't say I want to win a Super Bowl. And I'm not saying Lamar has to take like some super drastic discount, but he needs to keep that in the back of his mind that his boys need to get paid and he needs a receiver. And those aren't cheap.
And he's got I think the problem with not having an agent is that he's got to sit across from Eric DeCosta, who's got to say, look, Lamar, we haven't seen you play football past Thanksgiving since your MVP season. You haven't performed well in the playoffs regardless. Yes, we haven't given you weapons, but at the same time, you're not there to throw the ball to the weapons. So why should we pay you the money that you're asking if you can't return that investment on your end? Like, I think that's a major concern for the Ravens. Is he going to be there in playoff time, which is why you pay these guys the money. It's why the Mahomes is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yep, exactly. I mean, again, however you feel about Pat Mahomes, after this year, half a broken ankle. I mean, again, he's showing why he's worth the money. He is 100%. There's no question. As much as the Chiefs annoy me, as much as I can't stand them just because, again, we have to deal with them to get to anywhere in the playoffs, he's worth it. Lamar hasn't shown that. In December, I mean, let's be honest here. There was a man called Joe Flacco. We called him January Joe because the man didn't miss in the winter. Lamar Jackson is yet to show he's January or December anything. So, I mean, again, I get it. I get it. It's a business. You want the best product, and missing December 2 years in a row ain't the best product, honestly. So I don't know where he's gonna go. I don't know. Switching sports though, let's go across the street and talk about the Orioles. Spring ball starting up. Baseball season is upon us, gentlemen. The warm weather is going to be here soon enough. I can't wait. But things are weird because they are getting rid of the Baltimore Sun sign, being removed from OPACY. What does that mean? Like, it's weird.
Well, I think the deal was that for $1 a year, like that was the deal. And I guess the money pinching Orioles would rather have concerts in the summer than a good baseball team throughout the year. Decided that wasn't going to cut it anymore. So now I'm interested to see what happens. Maybe Under Armour, I don't know. But I would love to see them start paying for players. Speaking of, signing guys. And, maybe re-signing some of these young prospects that they have to longer-term deals now so that we don't run into a Lamar Jackson issue. And because the Orioles aren't going to pay anybody. You kidding me? Why? Yeah. Machado walked out the door. They've got Adley Rutschman, who was the first top overall prospect last year. They had Gunnar Henderson, who was a top overall prospect this year. They've got Jackson Holliday, who was the first overall pick last year. They've got Colton Cowser, who is a top 30 player. I mean, they've got the amount of talent they've got coming down the pipe it's absolutely asinine, and I'm ready for it. But I just hope the Orioles invest in them. Scares me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens is a question if they may pay. There's a chance. There's a chance in hell that they might. But with the Orioles, it's like, they're not going to. Half those guys will be on other teams within the next, 5 years. So, yeah, enjoy them while you can, essentially. But I don't know. To me, and again, the rumor mill is swirling, Angelos are selling property around Baltimore, getting rid of some of their property and stuff. And I don't know.
They need 24 of 30 owners to vote the move, and that will never happen.
Oh, really? All right, so we're good.
I just can't fathom owning a fucking baseball team and not don't own a baseball team if you're not going to invest in baseball. You don't buy a house and then just stop, taking care of it. And then when the AC breaks, you're like, oh, we'll just open the windows. No, replace that shit. Get it. Paint the walls, mow the grass. What the hell?
Where's the Ripkins? Is there a chance? Is there a way in the world that maybe they could take over the O's? Bring some type of glory back to. Because again, as long as it's in Angeles, I just don't. It's going to be. We're going to get decent baseball. I think this year. I think we're going to have probably one of the best baseball seasons this year, and it's going to be frustrating because of what they're not going to do in the offseason. What they're going to probably give up.
Yeah, I mean, it's they have one of the lowest payrolls in all of baseball. I think. I think they're second lowest payroll in baseball. They could have signed, for instance, Jacob deGrom to a $90 million contract or whatever, and still had hundreds of $1 million to spend. They didn't even do that. They brought in back end of the rotation guy, and that's it. Some traveled, and the Orioles brass is brilliant. They can turn these guys into gold, but. It's kind of annoying that they're not going to go out and pay for a guy like deGrom when they clearly have the cash to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, their stupid excuse was, our market is only 18 or 17. Yeah, the San Diego's is a market is less than ours, and they paid $200-something million for their team.
We have Masson. Our audience from Delaware to freaking North Carolina.
We don't use that. The Nats use that money. It's our network that can't even broadcast the stupid spring training games, except 4 of them.
They don't even have a streaming app.
They cry their way onto every cable network, and they won't even play the stupid spring training games.
This is how they get you.
What are you there for?
And again, again, I mentioned
bring back any of the people anyone likes.
It's so frustrating.
Dempsey's gone. Everyone's gone.
Yep.
I don't hate the people they have now.
I miss the days once upon a time where baseball was on WJZ. I'm be real with you. I remember being on WJZ. It was better then. I feel like games were easier to watch. like I don't have cable, so like Madison, I have to go to like a bunch of backdoor websites to stream it through my laptop to plug into my TV if I want to watch baseball at home. Like, that's freaking nuts. Like we're in 2023. This is nuts.
Yeah, the local freaking team. The team is like 10 miles from you, Gerald.
Yeah.
If that.
I mean, I go to enough games, I feel like. Yeah. I'm looking forward to going to a bunch more, but it's just tough being a Baltimore sports fan. Sometimes.
No game ball for the Orioles and no game ball for Lamar Jackson.
None. In fact, nobody gets a game ball. We get a game ball because we went online tonight. There you go. Bam. But got about a minute left. Any last thoughts, real quick?
I'll tell you, a whole new crop of wide receivers are going to be listed in Baltimore now. Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, he's going to be listed back here again. Jarvis Landry are going to be. People are going to want Odell and Jarvis. I've already seen people ask for that dude to team back up. Hopkins has already been on that list. Like I said, Mike Evans is probably now at the top of the list just because he played with the OC already. But yeah, it's going to be that again. And every wide receiver in the draft, projected up.
Only a month and a half to the draft. Super excited to see how many picks we end up getting for that. It's gonna be good.
Yeah,
the Ravens gonna do some good.
Super excited for it. Draft's coming up. We will have coverage of this going forward. The offseason is our favorite time, seems like nowadays. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will be back with more. Stay tuned.